Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Orphea and in today's video I'm gonna be talking about my current makeup favorites. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the makeup products that I currently use most. My opinion on each of these products is purely based on how I have been using it this year or the past few years or even longer. And these are the personal products that I purchased with my own money that I would highly recommend to you if you're looking into getting makeup products. Now, I'm going to start with the things that I use first when I start doing my makeup and go on that way. And if you have seen any of my makeup videos, I always do my eyes first so that when I use loose powders, which I do most of the time, if I have any fallout, I can easily clean it off and then finish my makeup. And before I apply any makeup at all, the first thing that I do is apply a primer. Now I have the Stay Don't Stray by Benefit. I really like this one. It is the color Light Medium. It's a perfect neutral tone to start off my look. I also like using the regular Urban Decay primer potion, but when I ran out of my previous one, I bought this one in a shop and I actually like this one at least as much, so I could highly recommend both of them. So Benefit Stay Don't Stray in Light Medium or the Urban Decay primer potion, and depending on your type of skin you could go for the regular one, which is the one that I mostly purchase, or you could go for the anti-aging one or whichever one you prefer. I just always go with the regular one. Then I will set my primer with a neutral eyeshadow. Now I personally really love using Notoriously Morbid products, as you will probably notice during this video. I actually love the shade So Goes My Nation as a base color. It is the perfect my skin but better color. It's a really nice neutral base to get everything started off on. Now there are other alternatives for this. I know Catrice has a similar shadow, but they change their names very often. Last time I checked it was called Champagne something. Now I prefer using matte base colors and not shimmery ones, but of course it is up to you. My personal favorite that I use all the time is So Goes My Nation from Notoriously Morbid. Then of course we're gonna play around with eyeshadows, and I like to use a ton of eyeshadows. The main ones that I like to use are again from Notoriously Morbid, and I will quickly show you my eyeshadow drawer. Now my eyeshadows are categorized into two categories, but three baskets because I had too many. One of them, the first one is purely matte shades, the second one is purely shimmer shades, and the third one is also shimmer shades, multi-chromes, what have you. So I keep my eyeshadows categorized in that way. I kind of keep similar colors together. It really depends on my mood or on what I want, and I will show you some of the names of my favorites will be linked down below because there's tons of them. I really love some of their red shadows, blue ones, but I can't give you the names because there's so much. So I will be leaving a list in the description box of this video so you can find the shades that I personally really love. Now most of the time I prefer using black eyeshadow, so a powder formula, to do my eyebrows. Why? Because I find it more comfortable and easier. I do emote with my eyebrows quite a lot, so I prefer having a powder for some reason, and I use Bloody Awful Poet by Notoriously Morbid most of the time. Now they recently also came out with brow Creme-ations. It's a cream-based brow product. They are amazing. I have the one in black, and I have started using it as well in combination with Bloody Awful Poet. Sometimes I just alternate between the two of them. I actually really like it. The only thing is, because for me, I'm not used to using cream products on my eyebrows, it feels a bit weird, but that's just purely me because I'm not used to having cream-based products on my face. So for my eyebrows, it's mostly a black eyeshadow, and then I will use the eyebrow brush by Real Techniques to fill them in and to shape them the way I want. Then we get to one of my all-time favorite products that I have been using for at least 5 to 10 years. It is the eyeliner pencil. This one is by Bourjois. It is the Khol Contour pencil in 0 to Ultra Black. And as you can see probably from the length of this pencil, I have been using this quite a lot. It is really one of my favorite ones. It really smudges out well as well if you want to do a deep smoky eye and you don't want to use too much eyeshadow. really good. It also really stays on your waterline. It doesn't go everywhere, and this is why it is one of my favorites. I have tried a few others over the years, but I keep getting back to this one. I think it costs about 10 euros, but for me it is well worth it. Then onto eyeliners. I actually only use 2 eyeliners actively. This one is by NYX. It is the NYX Matte Liquid Liner. I think this is great. It has a really nice brush tip applicator. It draws lines very easily. I can use this for a very long time because the tube is actually this big and then the applicator one is actually this big piece. I find it super practical to apply my makeup with, to apply my eyeliner with, to draw lines and crosses and stuff on my face. Now, I've only started using this more recently. I used to have this, I think I got it from Ayame Critique in one of my boxes from her. I started playing around with it, drawing on my face, but in the meantime it has become one of my favorite eyeliners, and this is actually really easy to purchase here in Belgium as well, because since not too long we have NYX stores as well. And then it will come as to no surprise that the Notoriously Morbid eyeliner is also one of my favorite ones. Now do keep in mind the ones that I have brush tips, but Notoriously Morbid recently changed the applicator ones to felt tips, which I personally am not a big fan of, unfortunately, because I can't get my lines as precise with them. That's just on me. But if you prefer felt tips, then of course go ahead and buy the Notoriously Morbid one. The formula is amazing. Now the ones that I have the brush tips still on because I have them from old releases. Now the ones that I have are backups, they are unopened, or this one is currently one of the ones that I'm using, but I really love the formula. I think this formula by Notoriously Morbid is even better than the NYX one because it just stays. It doesn't budge. You can cry, you can get contact liquid in it, they don't move, they just stay where they are. Whereas the NYX one, sometimes I have a little bit of trouble with the outer corner of my eye to have it stay really well. What I then do is apply a little bit of black eyeshadow over it and it will fix it most of the time. But my 2 favorite liquid liners are by NYX and by Notoriously Morbid. They are both matte black ones. And then to finish the eyes, I will always use one of those typical eyelash curlers. I know you've all seen them. I don't really think it depends what brand you get one from. They all do basically the same thing. And then I will be using mascara. Now this is the one I'm currently using, but I switch between different ones from Essence and Catrice all the time. This one is the Glam and Dull Fall/Waterproof Mascara. Now this is the one thing that I look for in a mascara, is that it is waterproof. Now both Catrice and Essence have a bunch of them. I alternate between them. I will leave in the description box the ones that I use most, so the full names of the ones that I like. Currently this is the only one I have, also because of the lockdown. This was the last one that I had in my spares drawer. I change my mascara every month more or less, and I don't find it worth spending over 10 euros on a mascara. I will generally spend between 5 and 10 euros max on one mascara, but I will bulk buy them when they are on promotion and then keep them for further down the year. So I think mascara is one of the products that I replace most because I will get a new one every single month. Whereas my eyeliner, I use it for about 2 to 3 months, depending how long it lasts me. Eyeshadows really depends how often I use them, how quickly I run through them, but I currently go through a big jar of So Goes My Nation in about a year. So mascaras I don't really care for too much as long as they're waterproof. I especially like Catrice and Essence. Now I also wear false lashes, and the false lashes I have are mostly by Eyelure, but I cannot really tell you the numbers of it. Why? Because I just grab them out of the package and put them all together into one small tray. I think the volume 101s are the ones that I purchase most because they're really comfy, smallish lashes. They add a lot of volume. They are very pretty, but they're not super heavy. So Ardell lashes are also very good. I know that Red Cherry lashes are also a very good brand that I have lashes of, but I think that Eyelure is currently the brand that I am wearing as well. Now I think that eyelashes, fake eyelashes, add a lot of drama and a lot of volume to your eyes. I personally really love them, but that's of course up to you if you want to use them or not. The next step for me is to start my face, and I always use a primer. The current one I'm using is the Catrice Keep Me Matte Pore Refining Anti-Shine Base from their Prime and Fine range. Now this is my third bottle of this, or tube of this, whatever you call it. I really like it. I have been using this one for at least 2 years, I think. I have tried another one in the meantime, but it didn't really stick to my face as well. This makes sure that my makeup doesn't move all the time while I'm wearing it, and I really like it because it gives this extra matte effect, which I personally like. And then a tricky subject to talk about if you have pale skin is foundation. These are my current two foundations. This one is completely empty and I cannot find it, so I'm gonna have to look out for it again. This one is the Fit Me by Maybelline Matte Poreless Normal to Oily Skin in the color 100. I don't see a name. Oh, it is 100 Warm Ivory. So this is the foundation that I usually use during spring, summer and fall. And then this is my other foundation, the second one that I use, that is a little bit lighter than this one. This one is from Catrice. It's the HD Liquid Coverage Foundation in color 02 Porcelain Beige. In the meantime, they have come out with an even lighter shade. I do like it because I like having very pale skin, but this one is a true match to my skin tone most of the time, except when I have a little bit of a tan or I come outside, then I will have to use this one. So these are the two foundations that I like to use. They both have a matte finish, which I personally like, and they are both, I think, about the same price range. So I could highly recommend both of these. I have a normal skin, normal to oily skin, so these two work really well on me, and the primer makes them both very well stick to my face. They don't make them patchy, and I will apply these with the Real Techniques sponge, so the orange sponge, the normal one that most people use. Mine is currently in a very disgusting state, so I will not show it to you. I think we all know what we're talking about. I will include a picture anyways, but that's what I use to apply my foundation, and these are the foundations that I use. I usually don't apply concealer, but when I do, I have the One Drop Coverage Concealer by Catrice Cosmetics in color 003 Porcelain. I'm not sure if this is their lightest shade, but it is really light enough for me. You could also use this as a foundation if you need something very high coverage, because you need a tiny bit of this to do a lot of coverage on your face. This is a very good product. I firstly hesitated to get an actual concealer because I'm not a fan of concealer usually, but this one works really well and it just applies very smoothly, same way as the foundation. It doesn't become patchy, it's not sticky, and it sets really well. To finish off my face, I will be using mostly Notoriously Morbid products. I will be using their D-End setting powder, which is basically a translucent white-based powder that I apply to my face. NYX also has a very good one. I know Catrice also has one. I personally prefer the Notoriously Morbid one because it's not as cakey on my face and I don't need a lot of it to get a good even coverage of my face, and I like to use that just to set the foundation. So I will first do my primer, then to my foundation, finish with concealer, and then set everything with my setting powder. Then I will contour my face, and the contour color that I usually have is Notoriously Morbid's Necromancy. I have been using Necromancy for at least 3 years now, and it is my favorite. I have tried a few other ones in the meantime, but I always get back to it because it's such a good color for pale people, because it's a neutral taupe-based shadow, so you can just contour your face with it without warming it up, which is exactly what I go for. For highlighters, I have a few that I alternate between. The one that I use today is Annabelle, also from Notoriously Morbid. This is a blue-based highlighter, but there's also Osteomancy, which is a neutral highlighter shade, which I really like as well. And I think those are the two that I use most. That's pretty much how I finish off my face. I sometimes use a setting spray, but I have to admit that at least most of the time I don't. And if I use a setting spray, it is the one by Notoriously Morbid. It's something Gobble Stopper. I can't remember right now, and I don't have it near me because it's behind you guys and I can't reach it right now. But if I use a setting spray, it's either from Catrice or from Notoriously Morbid, and I will include in the description box their exact names. And then for lips, there is one thing that I will always be using. It is this. It's a tiny jar from Notoriously Morbid, and it is called Slumber Salve. Now, Slumber Salve is a healing balm that you apply to your lips. Now, I use this as a regular day-to-day lip balm because it is extra moisturizing and I need all the moisture I can get in my lips because otherwise they start cracking. So what I do most of the time when I start doing my makeup, I will apply the Slumber Salve to my lips, and when I get to actually apply my lip color, it will have been absorbed by my lips and it will just be a nice even base to work on. Now, if you have applied too much, you can of course pat it off with a tissue or something, but most of the time for me, I just apply a little bit, it goes a long way, and then afterwards I will apply my lip shades. Now, I do have a few lip pencils, but I don't think they're super impressive. I have a red one by, I think, Essence, a black one by NYX. I don't love them, I don't hate them, they're okay, but then I have a lot of lipsticks by Notoriously Morbid. And let me tell you, I love the formula of Notoriously Morbid lipsticks. They are some of my favorites of all time. Now, the ones that I personally love most is Druidress. Druidress is a really deep, rich red color with a lot of shimmer in it. The matte black that I wear most of the time is called Rune, also by Notoriously Morbid. The shade I'm wearing today is Rune from Notoriously Morbid, but this was a limited shade, so you unfortunately won't be able to get that anymore. They have lots of colors, they have a ton of them, and I personally really like the formula of their liquid lipsticks. I'm not too much a fan of regular lipsticks, but that is just generally speaking because I just prefer liquid lipsticks. Another color that I really also could recommend is 13 Black Rainbows. It's a black base with lots of glitter in it, which is one of my current favorite shades as well. So there we are, all of the makeup products that I could recommend to you that I personally use to do my face from start to finish. I hope this helps you if you're looking for something to do your makeup with. As always, I will be linking you to all of the products in the description box. Should you still have any questions at all, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I make new videos every week and I would love to have you for every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you soon. Bye! Before we end this video, I want to say thank you to Anders, who is my first high-tier patron. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, and of course also thank you to all of my other patrons.